Worried, Mr. President, that against the letters and the spirit of our Constitution, and without regards for the sanctity of human life and any justification whatsoever, the Urobos and indeed other Nigerians who are being gruesomely and extrajudicially killed in rural communities, forests and farms by terrorists of a young, vibrant and popular youth leader, Solomon Ejo, by terrorist elements and hardened criminals operating under the cover of headsmen in Omoagege, Ethiopia's local government area of Delta State. Mr. President, this cruel killing of Solomon Ejo is a sensitive incident that has generated real and pervasive anger and tension in parts of the Niger Delta region, and now tremendously challenging responsible leaders and institutions to manage this sensitive situation with utmost wisdom to avert a major national security crisis erupting again in the Niger Delta region. Mr. President, the horrific murder of Solomon Ejo in the farm community of Omoagege and other such mindless killings in Uweru, Agadama, and other places across Urobo land and other parts of this nation, as often reported in the media, are provoking enormous anger and stoking fears of existential threats. Mr. President, our people are losing confidence in our national security machinery for appearing not to have a convincing, proactive strategy to deal decisively and satisfactorily with terrorist elements masquerading as headsmen, whose modus operandi is to threaten our national security, peace and cohesion by wantonly and brazenly attacking our rural communities, ransacking farms, raping women and children, killing people and destroying property, an intolerable and worrisome situation that is capable of breeding self-help measures for survival with dangerous consequences that can fundamentally destabilize our nation. Mr. President, there is a mismatch between the consistent oral assurances by our national security agencies, more particularly the Nigerian police force, of their capacity and readiness to deal decisively with and arrest internal national security threats, notably the brazen killing of our people by terrorist headsmen. Mr. President, the troubling inaction of constituted authorities to firmly arrest horrific trends of systemic extrajudicial killings have precipitated huge crises for nations and humanity in history with regrettable consequences. And history will not forgive our generation of leaders if, by complicit mute indifference, this great nation, Mr. President, unwittingly accepts the terrorist zero value for human life as our new norm. Mr. President, therefore, I plead with this Senate that as enshrined in Section 14, subsection 2, subparagraph B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1990 as amended, on the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, the primary purpose of government is and remains, Mr. President, the security and welfare of the people. Section 4, subsection 2 of the Constitution, Mr. President, vests the National Assembly with the legislative powers to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Federation. And this Senate has a duty to ensure conformance with the provisions of the Constitution and laws made by the National Assembly. And the Senate, Mr. President, cannot watch idly when national security agencies fail to protect the lives and property of our citizens, as enumerated in and mandated by Constitution and laws enacted by the National Assembly. Mr. President, the Senate ought to resolve, 1, that the Senate should direct the IG of police to, as a matter of urgent national security priority, arrest the killers of Mr. Solomon Ejo and all terrorist elements, hardened criminals and armed killers masquerading as headsmen in communities, forests, farms in Delta Central and across the nation, and bring them to justice according to law. And finally, Mr. President, I urge this Senate to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate this case and indeed all cases of killings by terrorist elements who are masquerading as headsmen across Nigeria, and the response of all national security agencies to these matters. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right.